makes the tackle, and we're down to this.
San Francisco has a timeout if they want to take a picture of what they're doing and take the timeout. Kyle Shanahan has walked down for a look. 4 seconds left, 2nd and goal. Here is Williams. He's got to throw it to the end zone. Clock has expired. Williams keeps the play alive. He's looking. He's got to get rid of it. Retreating, he throws. Incomplete. It's over. And the Niners have won. Injured in the end zone. Clock finally strikes midnight on these Bears. Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers win here next Sunday against Seattle. And the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC comes through the place where they'll play the Super Bowl. Williams runs off Burton, being held by the athletic training staff as he's just gotten up out of the end zone to our right. And then back to a knee. He was trying to put some weight on it, walking off. Here's the last play. Williams trying to keep it alive. Chased by Bryce Huff. Got away once, got away again. Everybody was coming with him. Just couldn't get enough on it as he tried to reach Shade Walker to have another end of regulation drama catch for the rookie receiver. Credit the Niners and their relentless pressure. Yetur Gross-Matos was there at the end. Malik Mustafa and his defense finally comes up with a big play. Tatum Bethune, the linebacker, stepped into Fred Warner's role, taking care of it on the defensive side on a night when Kyle Juszczyk of this offense carried the load. Nearly 500 yards gained by San Francisco. Caleb Williams and the Cardiac Bears needed one more life tonight. Brock Purdy's team got it done. Chevrolet postgame Week 18 schedule coming up from Santa Clara after these messages.
Welcome to the Chevrolet postgame. Here now, Mike Tirico.
Wow, that was something, wasn't it? What a fun night here. San Francisco 42, Chicago 38. We'll tell you about the implications of this momentarily. I know a lot of folks are waiting for the Week 18 schedule, so are we. So let's look at it together, America. Saturday, Panthers and Bucks will play. Obviously, that game with significance for the NFC South. Not necessarily head-to-head because Atlanta still factors in. If Atlanta has a couple of wins here, it could change the complexion of that game, but likely for the division title. The game for the 1 seed, Seattle, San Francisco in here, 8 o'clock Saturday night, short week for the Niners. That game will be on ABC and ESPN. The Sunday games, Packers are locked into the 7, Colts, Texans are part of that CBS trio at 1 o'clock. In the NFC at 1 o'clock, the Titans and the Jaguars. Jaguars still alive for high seeding in the AFC. They're currently the 3. The late games, and again, both networks will have double headers. Broncos trying to lock down that 1 seed. The Commanders-Eagles game, part of that CBS block. The last game in Orchard Park, unless the Bills find a way to host a game late in the playoffs. And then the Lions and Bears. So Bears fans, you'll see the Lions-Bears at Soldier Field, 4:25 on Sunday. That leaves 1 game next Sunday night. We will be at the confluence of the 3 rivers for Baltimore, Pittsburgh, for the final playoff spot. And could it be the final game for Aaron Rodgers as well? 7 Eastern with football night. Kickoff around 8:20. Ravens-Steelers will be game 272 and a sensational end to what has been a wild 2025 season. That's next week. Back to tonight, our Sunday night players of the game. Brock Purdy, who was ridiculous with his 2nd straight 5 total touchdown performance. Christian McCaffrey's 181 scrimmage yards. Jake Tonjes in for the injured George Kittle. 7 catches, 60 yards. The Stars are standing by with Melissa Stark.
What a game, guys. Brock, I'm going to start with you. What was it like watching the defense on the field during that last drive?
I mean, we needed a stop. They got it. The boys just played their butts off, man. So for us to be able to just have each other's back, offense, defense, special teams, to go down the wire like that at the end of the year, man, there's nothing better.
Trent Williams was singing your praises to me, and he said you take leading this team so seriously that it's really fun to watch you have some of those celebrations and actually show that you're human. Tell us about those celebrations you had.
Yeah, it's just in the moment. You know, you score. It's a big part of the game, and you just want to get the guys to feed off the energy and keep it rolling. And this game's all about momentum, so however I can help the team out.
Yeah, and talk about momentum and keeping things rolling. First of all, the #1 seed, you guys are playing for that next week. Can you just talk about the importance of this win to get you there next week?
Yeah, God's good, man. We got such a resilient team. I love the character in this locker room, man. Guys go down, guys step up. You know, we really are one family, and I love those guys in the locker room and these guys right here. I'm just super proud of our team.
You had a season high in rushing yards tonight. How are you so consistent in your production?
And O-line, tight ends, fullbacks, and they block so well and open up lanes for me. It's just my job to go out there and hit it. Brock making plays on 3rd down, 1st down, so whatever it is, opens up the run game for us. So, man, we got a great collective unit, and again, I'm just proud of our guys.
Jake, come in over here. You stepped in the absence of George Kittle, and you stepped up. What was the key?
I mean, just always being prepared. George has taught me so much, and when he's not playing, he's always so supportive on the sideline and giving me tips throughout the game. So I appreciate him, and I'm just glad we came out with the win.
Have you ever been part of a game like this?
I mean, we've had some crazy games this year. That Thursday night down in L.A., but nothing like this on Sunday Night Football. It doesn't get better than this.
Awesome. Congratulations, guys.
Crazy to say the least, Melissa. Okay, so here's what it looks like in the playoff picture in the NFC. The Bears can only be the 2 or the 3 seed now. Green Bay is the 7. So there's a terrific chance that you'll see a Bears-Packers rematch if the Bears beat the Lions at Soldier Field next Sunday. The Eagles are in there at the 3 spot. Obviously, Carolina and Tampa are for that last spot that is unclaimed at the moment. Let me just give you just one brief note on that. Carolina wins the NFC South with a win against Tampa, which could happen Saturday in the early window. However, if Atlanta wins tomorrow night against the Rams, not likely, but this is the league, who knows? And then Atlanta wins again on Sunday, that gets Carolina the title. So there's a possibility of that changing the complexion in the NFC South. 2 Atlanta wins. We'll know more about that tomorrow. San Francisco, Seattle on Saturday night here for the #1 seed. That one is pretty simple. Not simple was what happened on that last play. Want to take me back there?
You know, we've been looking at it here a little bit. There was a little bit of a chance, right, that Caleb could have made a play that's going to end up being right about here in the back of the end zone. So as Ja'Day Walker goes all the way across the field from here, if I've got this right, then he is going to end up with an opportunity. Actually, it might be right there.
That's Loveland.
There's Loveland in the back of the end zone. You've got a big tight end, and you know what the throw is, right? You throw it about 10 feet high. You give him a chance for a jump ball. But that was well played on defense. It simply was a guy that scrambled, fought his guts out all night, and Caleb Williams has come up so big in those situations. But the Bears proved something to me. To come in after that one last week, all the raw emotion of that, go on the road, they're all sick, right, coming in here, and to fight down to the last snap. This is a team that I think deserves maybe even more respect. We've talked about these last-minute, victories and miracle plays and all that kind of stuff. That's not what we saw tonight. What we saw tonight was a team that was full of guts, full of fight, and they'll be ready for the playoffs.
Let's say they beat Detroit. They end up the 2 seed. Then they'll have a couple of playoff games at Soldier Field. And then let's say San Francisco beats Seattle. No easy task. Seattle looks great, right? They might have to come back out here and play again. And if they do, they know that they're within this much.
We would like to volunteer to do that game if we can see that one again.
Or if it's the AFC Championship game, I'll be happy to have my feet up having a beer, and I'll watch Burkhardt and Brady have at it, right?
This is really what it's all about. And this is, in many ways, the most unusual year I can remember in the NFL. If you asked me to pick a favorite going into these playoffs, I don't know. Because they're all, you can put something on all of them, right? And it's just going to be amazing to watch these young quarterbacks that we've got in these playoffs right now go at it. because I don't know what any of them are going to do, but this is when legends begin to be built in these moments, and we saw two good young quarterbacks really putting on a show tonight.
And we're going to talk a lot about what happened today in the NFL in just a moment. And Brock Purdy, a little quality there. Let's create some content for the gram. Why not, right? The way he played so well. Second consecutive week, 5 total touchdowns. 4-point San Francisco win. They control the path to the #1 seed. Well, much more right after this.
Welcome back to the Chevrolet Postgame.
Time now for your Peacock picks of the week. What if your eyes and ears were hacked? The Copenhagen test. That thought-provoking new thriller, it does just that. Then dive into Begonia, a bold thriller starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. NBA Monday on Peacock. We'll have the Cavs and the Spurs. You can check out Wemby at 7:30 Eastern, and then the terrific 19-year-old Cooper Flag of the Mavs taking on Portland at 10:30 Eastern time. And right now, Sunday Night Football final set to kick off. Jack Collinsworth, Tony Dungy, Rodney Harrison, joined by Kyle Juszczyk on the set. Starting right now on Peacock. What a Sunday, what a week it was, going back to the 3 on Christmas Day. Congratulations, New England, the Patriots. Drake made 5 touchdown passes. You were right last week when I scoffed at you. He is in the MVP conversation. Patriots win the division, stop the Bills run atop the division. So that loss by the Panthers, the loss by the Bucks, means that's perhaps one game for the NFC South title, unless the Falcons win out. Falcons play the Rams tomorrow night, and then the Falcons play on Sunday. So it could be Tampa wins the game, and then we're still watching to see what happens with the Falcons if Atlanta wins tomorrow night. And then the team coming in here on Saturday night, Seattle. They beat Carolina 27-10 in Uptown Charlotte. They are the #1 seed if they beat the Niners. The teams met week 1 in Seattle. Niners won that. Very different teams, very different story at this point. What are your first thoughts when you think of Seattle coming in here?
I think of our pool because I picked them to win and go to the Super Bowl. So that's honestly, if you want to really know what I was thinking, that's what I was thinking.
11-50, and I get that.
There you go.
Yeah.
But, you know, I fell in love with their defense the first time that I studied them, and I knew what they were going to be on that side of the ball. And then it comes down to Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. The way they've been running the football here lately, I mean, it's really been exciting. I think all these teams are slightly flawed. I think you can go through the entire playoff field and go, yeah, but, to quote John Madden, right? Yeah, but on every one of them, which is what makes this so intriguing, right? I mean, San Francisco, you got to question the defense a little bit, where they are at this point after watching this one tonight. It's been a little bit of what they've been going through. But my goodness, they're screaming up and down the field. Chicago's the same thing. Then they're going to go back and play in the freezing cold down there. I mean, this is really, I think, the most interesting playoffs that I've been associated with.
On this field next Saturday night, the San Francisco offense against the Seattle defense is going to be great theater.
Great theater.
Can't wait. And we'll be sitting having dinner in Pittsburgh watching it all.
Yes, we will.
We'll be in Pittsburgh next Sunday night for game 272. Will it be the last game for Aaron Rodgers? Will he carry the Steelers to the playoffs? Will Derrick Henry run through the Steelers? A preview of that matchup when we come back on Sunday Night Football.
Welcome back to the Chevrolet Postgame.
Game 272, final game of the regular season on Sunday Night Football. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Such a great rivalry over the years. We've watched already this season a couple of good tight games between these teams. And with Pittsburgh moving to Cleveland, Baltimore winning in Lambeau last night on Peacock, it sets up one game for it all for that final spot in the AFC. Denver on its way to that #1 seed in the AFC. New England also at 13-3 there with them, so they'll work through that. Jacksonville, tremendous season for the Jaguars. They could have a 13-win season if they close it out. With Houston, the Chargers, and Buffalo, all dangerous teams who might be going on the road, but let's focus on Pittsburgh and Baltimore for the third time, an actual playoff game last year, a de facto playoff game on Sunday night.
I can think of no game I would rather watch, and I'm talking about throughout the course of the year. If you tell me I'm going to get Pittsburgh and Baltimore for the right to win that division and go to the final playoff spot, and the other one goes home, all day, I'll take it all day. It's going to be interesting, right? TJ Watt, do we know if he's going to be able to play? He's missed, 3 in a row at this point. We know DK Metcalf's not going to play because of the suspension with the incident with the fan, right? Lamar Jackson, is he going to play in this one? Snoop Huntley looked awfully good the other night. But Derrick Henry, finally, they gave the ball to Derrick Henry and they won the game. So you wonder how much this team is going to look a little different than what we saw just a couple of weeks ago.
And think of the Hall of Famers who are on that field, like Henry and Aaron Rodgers, who could be playing his last game, or maybe a chance to play one last playoff, or 2 last playoff games, or make an unbelievable run back to Northern California and the Super Bowl, because you never count him out as you were if you were watching the Cleveland game this week. So you don't need to sell it. Game 272 usually sells itself, but this one takes the cake with Rodgers and the Steelers taking on the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. All week, countdown to the Winter Olympics on the Today Show. Friday, be there live when hockey stars Jack Hughes, Layla Edwards, Declan Farmer reveal the hockey rosters for Team USA and what's going to be one of the great parts of the Olympics as the NHL players and the terrific U.S. women's team and the sled team as well compete in Milan. That's Friday morning as you start your week with Today. Our final score, 49ers 42, Bears 38 in a classic. Thanks to our producer, Rob Hyland, our director, Jurek Koff, our awesome Sunday night team, Terry McCauley here in the booth with us, Melissa Stark, Chris Collinsworth. Happy New Year, pal.
Happy New Year, brother.
Enjoy the rest of your 2025. Stay safe. We'll see you next Sunday night from Pittsburgh to wrap up this regular season. Niners 42, Bears 38. Happy, safe New Year, everyone.
NBC Sports, home of Super Bowl 60. Thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.